Hi. So I thought that I scheduled the earlier YouTube thing for 4. Turns out I scheduled it for 11. Hi, 11:30, 11. And then I thought I scheduled this for 8:30 and it was 7:30. So I'm not good with scheduling today. Pardon me. Hi, Lauren. I also dyed my eyebrows yet again, so I'm assuming there are going to be a lot of eyebrow loving trolls today. I'm ready and prepared for them. We all love eyebrow trolls. Cindy and I are doing good. Cindy saw her little cousin today, Blue. Um, mm, I'm cutting out. Weird. Do you hear me now? There is a sound issue. Hi, Tina, on YouTube, as it seems. Hi, Tammy. Um, Weird. Do you hear me now? Very strange. But so yeah, Cindy and I are good. Cindy saw her friend today. I don't. Some of you guys were there to see it. Um, some of you were here to see it. Cindy and Blue. We had a French bulldog overdose today. They had a lot. Cindy is passed out. Cindy is so tired. I need to give Cindy a bath later because she's kind of gross. She's all slobbered on and stuff like that, and she really needs some water and soap. I will upload the live to Patreon later because I figured that, seeing multiple French bulldogs at the same time is probably something a lot of people would appreciate. But yeah, it was Cindy and Blue together. Hi, Cindy and Blue together. Yeah, she had a really good day. I was supposed to. I had some plans earlier today. I overslept. But to be fair, John overslept too, so it was okay. But I thought that I could do a live either earlier or at 4. I only got there at 1, and then we ended up going to Larry and Jessica's place, and Cindy was hanging out with Blue, and it was a fun time for them. I just had 2 dogs running around on top of me as if I was their playground. At some point, I was just like, "Oh my god, guys, please leave me alone." Also, in other news, as we know, today is Father's Day, and oh, that's awesome! That's awesome, Hope. So today is Father's Day, and to all of you who are fathers, Happy Tato Day. I did say Happy Father's Day to my dad too. It's a bittersweet kind of day because I keep seeing people posting photos and videos with their dads and stuff like that, and and it's kind of sad to me because I wanted to post a video tribute to my dad today too. I really love my dad. You guys all know that, and it's my dad's one of my heroes, But I don't have any photos with my dad in the past 7 years because I have not seen my dad in person in the past 7 years. And I felt like it would be weird to just post photos of my dad randomly. Hi, Smiley. And post photos of my dad randomly on my feed because, I wish I had photos with him I wish I had all of these like cute photos for Father's Day to post like most people do. And I'm happy that most people can, or that so many people have so many beautiful photos and memories with their dads. All of my memories with my dad in the last 7 years are over FaceTime. So, so it's, um, so it's kind of, hi Pamela. Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that, Kat. I know that, see, like, I don't necessarily want to like complain, neither do I want to say anything further than that, because I know that a lot of people also just don't have a dad, or a lot of people don't know their dad, or a lot of people have lost their dad, which I'm very, very, very sorry about that. And I know that, like, it could be much worse, but also it's not as hard to look at all of these happy photos as it is for a lot of people who don't have a dad for whatever reason it is, for whether don't have a dad anymore or never did. But it's also still pretty hard, to see photos of people sort of having all of these like lovely photos with my dad, with their dad, and sort of like all of these great moments, and think about the fact that I've missed out on 7 years of those moments. And it's kind of like, it's a very interesting thing, but like when I left, my dad had raven black hair. Next time I like saw him on FaceTime, he had gray hair. And it's just like interesting, because my parents grow older and my parents grow, and I don't get to see that. And I'm sure that I don't even know necessarily what my dad really looks like in person, right? Because I haven't seen him in person. And last time I saw him in person is still like my image of my dad, you know? And I feel like every time I see him on FaceTime, it's still like, it's almost like it's the first time that I see him on FaceTime, because it's just like, in my head, I have an image of my dad. And that image is my dad 7 years ago. And every time that he picks up the phone and I see like a picture on the screen, it doesn't match the picture that I have in my head, because that's the picture that I keep of my dad. And it's just like really strange to be so close with your parent, but not having had like seen them for such a long time. So Father's Day and Mother's Day are, well, Mother's Day, it's like, you guys very often ask me why I talk about my dad so much and I never bring up my mom. I love my mom. We have a good relationship with my mom. I'm much closer with my dad these days. But my mom has visited me. I've seen my mom. Hi, James. Like, I've had like like physical interactions with my mom. Like, I could hug her, I could see her, and it's different. I haven't seen my dad in 7 years, and I don't know. It's just like, it's a different type of relationship. First of all, like, I'm my dad's daughter, and I definitely resemble my dad much more than I resemble my mom. Um, and I definitely have a much easier time like understanding my dad and understanding where he's coming from than understanding my mom. Like, I love my mom again, but like, if there are negative qualities of my dad's, or if there are things that I don't like about my dad, it's much easier for me to understand where they're stemming from and stuff like that than it is to understand with my mom, because we're simply very different people, while my dad and I are very similar. And so yeah, it's just like a rough little thing, because it's really strange. It's a very, very strange world and a very, very strange situation to live in. And it's very, very strange that you can be so close with someone and not having had seen them for like such a long time. It's almost been a decade that I haven't seen my dad. Like, it's gonna be, thank you, Rue. It's gonna be, I think, either 7 or 8 years. It's gonna be 8 years in January, because I haven't seen my dad. Well, technically, I left Ukraine for the last time in January 2015. So early January 2015. So it's almost 8 years that I haven't seen my dad in person. And I don't know. It's just like it's a crappy day, you know? It's a crappy day. And I know for some people it's even crappier. Thank you, Rue. And I know that, you know, I know that my situation is not as bad as it could be, but it's just still quite difficult. Thank you. Buongiorno. Come stai? Buongiorno Italia. Buongiorno spaghetti al dente. E il partigiano come il presidente. I really love that song. Sorry, I didn't mean to. But I just really love Lasciatemi cantare. So, yeah. He can't visit because he does not have a visa. His visa ran out in 2017. And in 2017, we did not think that I would not be able to visit Ukraine for so long. Thank you so much. And and then when he was trying to apply for a new visa, it was like it was just like a lot of circumstances that were not working in our favor. So so yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is Juneteenth. Well, my mom came to visit me in the United States, and my dad has not. My mom had a visa for longer than my dad did. My mom had more opportunities to travel. My parents got a divorce in 2014 or 2015. 2015, I want to say. And my mom had much less stuff to figure out with her life when they got a divorce. And then my dad did, and he didn't necessarily have a lot of time to travel after that happened because he had to figure out stuff like where is he going to live? What is he going to do with his life? There was a lot going on, and my mom was able to travel easily, and my mom was able to just kind of restart a new life. My dad was not that easily, and that's why he hasn't visited. And then his visa ran out, and then he wasn't able to apply for the visa because it was not gonna like just circumstances weren't right. And then COVID, and then war in Ukraine, and here we are. I haven't seen my dad in 7 years. Yeah, I hope that they let Cinny in cabin because I'm not gonna put Cinny in like in what is it called, in like baggage. I'm never going to do that to her. And I really hope that they let me bring her in the plane. But also, Cindy most likely might need to stay in New York when I go do that. Yeah. Hi, Scooter. Happy Father's Day. Well, Cindy got weighed today and she's 28 pounds. I think that might not be airplane material. 28 pounds is a little too much. 28 pounds of French bulldog sausage is a little too many pounds. Thank you. I really hope so too. And again, to every father in here, happy Tato Day. Oh my gosh, happy Tato Day. So yeah. Alrighty, we have 87 updates today. Buy a receipt. We have 87 updates today, and I'm going to read them out. But before that, how was your day? Also, Pamela, I really love the amber mug. It's with me. I decided to drink chocolate milk today, and I like it warm, so it's great. Привіт, Харків. Привіт. I'm just in time for the update. Yeah, you are. You're just in time for the update. I hope that you guys are having a good day, and I hope that you're doing well. Let me grab a hoodie because I opened the window and it's quite chilly outside, which is great, but also I feel like I need something to keep me warmer than I am currently. So I'm gonna go grab a hoodie. Wait. It's funny actually about these hoodies. So Larry, the friend that we were at today, who has the other French bulldog, we were talking about TikTok and about other things and stuff like that. And I brought John the hat from the spy shop, and it was funny because he wore all khaki green today because I brought him that t-shirt that I got him, and I brought him like a hat. And so he was like, oh, should I just go all green? And I was like, yeah. And then we were talking about something, and Larry was like, yeah, that's a really good outfit. And John was like, oh yeah, this is like this t-shirt is what Yulia like gave me, and then the hat is from her like store. And he's like, you have a store? And I was like, yes. So I showed him the store, and he was looking at things, and I was like, Larry, you should really buy sweatpants, and like from this store, they're really good. And so John jumped in immediately. He's like, yeah, they're really comfortable sweatpants. Like I really like the sweatpants. So we were both trying to like harass Larry into buying sweatpants from my store as like a joke, obviously as a joke, from the spy store. It was really funny because he was like, no, these look like good sweatpants, but they look like hot. It looks like it's too hot for them right now. And John was like, no, not really. I wear them like most of the time. They're pretty comfortable. And then they went to work out, and Larry was like wearing shorts, and they're ripped. They're like ripped in from every possible angle. And so John was like, hey, Yulia, do you want to sell shorts, like sweatshorts in your store? Maybe then Larry will get them. And so we were laughing that I should just make sweatshorts for Larry for the gym, just so he doesn't have any excuses. Доброго ранку. But so yeah, maybe, hey, sweatshorts coming spring, summer 2022, or would it be fall, winter 2022? And oh, really, James? See, James, I thought so. I thought that I saw another order of tracksuit pants, and I thought that I was like that I was on. I honestly thought that I was delirious because I was like, wait, yours were delivered already. I'm happy you like them. The sweatshirts, yeah. Well, to be fair, these are actually really comfortable. These are actually really like the hoodies are really comfortable. I really like them. The sweatpants are really comfortable. My only thing is that like I like a very specific. Oh, I'm very glad that you love them. I like a very specific type of sweatpant, and they have to be like almost like leggings. I think you've noticed, as in like I like very form-fitting things, but I know that most people like sweatpants that are sweatpants. And so for me, they're a little too baggy, but John loves them. Charlie loves them. I've sent a pair of sweatpants to Charlie as well. So it's just I know that my personal preferences are not the same as most people's, so there is that. But yes, I'm glad that you like the pants, James, and I like that they're lightweight and comfortable. That's awesome. I'm very happy to hear that. I love that some of you guys 16 чи 17. Мені зараз майже 28. Ну, 17 так. Мені зараз майже 28. Oh, you rolled your R's. Awesome. I will take a screenshot, Tina, for I do have the measurements. So I'm gonna try, and I know that I've said a lot of times that I'm gonna post the measurements for the website. It's not that I forgot, it's just that there is a problem with Squarespace where I'm trying to figure out how to efficiently put in these measurements for every product, as in like what is a medium in inches, like what is a small in inches, what is an extra large in inches. And the issue that I'm coming up with is that it's Squarespace, and they have these like layouts for product pages, and you can't change them. And I need like a drop down menu where I can put that, but I'm most likely will just put it in the description for now. So I'll just, yeah, well, not even a size table image. It's just, I can put in like the sizes manually into the description. I feel like the image you have to go through all of them to get to that image. So I'm just gonna put it in the description. Bye, Jen. Have a nice day. I still can't roll my R's. R's are actually like rolling R's is easy. It's just it's the way of like it's always in the tongue placement. So like when you say roll, roll, like your tongue is kind of like in the back and it's up, and then you put your lips like roll. If you want to roll, you got to do like your tongue is almost in front of, like almost to the back point of your teeth, and it's like so when you say like the, right? Roll, roll, like your tongue should be the same placement, but it should be like moving up and down when you. So I don't know if that helps, but like that. So if you need to roll your R's, it's your tongue just needs to be placed differently. Like I wish I had an X-ray machine so I could show you what's happening when I roll R's, but obviously I can't do that. So I do my best. See, that's good. It's like. Hello, happy Father's Day to you as well, Michael. But yes, so let's dive into the news. I can't roll R's. Oh, I didn't notice that, Kat. I didn't notice that you don't roll your R's. I've noticed actually one of the things that I've noticed that's so weird is that a lot of Russians. So I've been watching a lot of tapes of Russian soldiers, right? Like talking about how they didn't know, how, I don't know, how they were impressed to see roads and villages and sidewalks and stuff like that. But one of the very common denominators that I've noticed in between all of the Russian soldiers is that all of them, we have this thing, it's called kartavate. Kartavate means when you can't roll your R's and when you can't pronounce your L's. So instead of an R, you would say ar, or like ar. Like you literally can't pronounce R. And instead of your L's, you say w. So like let's say instead of saying robota, you would say robota. So Svetoslav Vakarchuk from Okean Elzy, the Ukrainian music group, when he sings songs, like all of his R's sound like this because he doesn't pronounce R's properly. And then L's would be like, instead of saying любити, they would say I can't even do that. Like любити or люблю. Like that's not a good example. Like ловити, instead of ловити, which means to catch, they would say ловити. So they can pronounce L, people who and it's basically like a speech impediment that you can that a lot of kids actually get like speech therapy for, and then they stop like mispronouncing these letters, or they learn rather how to pronounce them properly, right? And so I noticed that most people in Russia, most of those soldiers, all of them mispronounce R's and L's. And I was very curious. I was like, wait, what? And then I realized that all of the like Russian kids in America that I know also say "ubit" and "rabota," so like they can pronounce these letters either. And then I realized, like, yes, that every single, like most Russian Americans, especially boys, they all don't know how to pronounce these letters. And all Russian soldiers that I've seen on tape, most of them also don't know how to pronounce these letters. And I was like, wait, that's so weird, because like we have that thing too. A lot of the time for kids, it's difficult, but then they go to a speech therapist and they learn how to say it. And then I realized that in Russia, most people do not have access to speech therapy. And so most people don't even think of like doing that. They just think that this is normal. This is a normal way of speaking. This is like, you don't like, as in like, this is just what it is. And then the people who immigrate here, they're so used to it that they don't even think to bring their kids to a speech therapist. No, it's not it's not a regional dialect. They're all from different. So somebody says could be a regional dialect. It's not a. So it's a speech impediment. First and foremost, it's a speech impediment, like genuinely, as in like some kids just find it very hard to pronounce these letters, and usually again they go to a speech pathologist and like speech therapists, and they usually fix that. But also all of the soldiers are from different regions. Also, all of the people that I know who speak Russian in the US are from different regions. So it's not a regional dialect. It's just a speech impediment that has never been fixed. But then I was wondering, like, okay, in Russia, if people do not have access to speech therapy, like they surely do in the United States when they bring their kids here, right? But then I realized that, it's so like these things are so not developed over there that even when kids move here, their parents like don't know that there is that option. So it's very interesting because again, like, in Ukraine, most kids get just like, especially these days, just get speech therapy and they correct it. And it's interesting that like in Russia, people that it's fixable. And then even if they immigrate here, they still don't realize that it's fixable because nobody has ever like fixed it, because the amount of people who speak with that specific thing is very, very huge. Literally every second Russian soldier has that thing, if not every like 1.5, which was very, it's just like, it was a very interesting speech pattern for me because I know that this happens in Ukraine, but not often unless you're like a little kid. So it was a very, very, very interesting thing for me to find out. Yeah. No, speech therapy is like a lot of people need speech therapy, like not everybody like learns how to speak like early. Not everybody can pronounce certain things right away, as in like speech therapy is good. That's not what I meant. I wasn't meaning it as a bad thing. It's just that like it's something that I noticed. And it's like, and it was very interesting to me. Like it was very curious. I was like, wait, why? Why are there so many people with that? Right? Because again, like in Ukraine, I've barely, like, I know what kartavata is, and like I know that people do that sometimes, but as in like I've never noticed nearly as many people. So it's like, what's the difference? Why there are so many? Because why there are so, is it just like a Russian thing? And then I just realized that there is just not enough. There is just no access to speech therapy. Hi. So that was a very, very interesting discovery for me. Yes. So I am ready for the news. Zelensky published another address. From the train on the way from the southern part of Ukraine. I'm coming back from the south. Visited today our frontline positions in the Mykolaiv region. Visited Mykolaiv itself and the Odessa region as well. I talked to our defenders, military, police, National Guard, territorial defense. Their mood is confident. They all do not doubt our victory. We will not give away the South to anyone. We will return everything that's ours, and sea will be Ukrainian and safe. And the sea will be Ukrainian and safe. Some new news intro music. Wait. Here. You want news intro music? Wait, I got it. um, Ні. Я не працюю перекладачем, я графічний дизайнер. Ну, UX, UI дизайнер. This one's long. Привіт, я також, ну, я зараз не в Україні, але, ну, не в Україні, але я з України, я зі Львова. Так що привіт.
Доброго вечора, ми з України.
There you go. And now we can start the news. Here is some intro music. Good evening, we're from Ukraine. But, also speaking of music, oh my god, so that song, Місто весни, so that song, Місто весни, about Lviv, that I really, really love because it's about my city, and well, it's Vakarchuk, and it's Один в каное. I really, really, really want to learn how to sing Vakarchuk's part because my voice is low. Now, John's voice is high, like not high, like when he speaks, no, but his singing voice, he has a lot of different ranges. And so I am embarking on a mission, and I don't know if I'm going to share this. I just want to record it to have it because I think he has an amazing singing voice, and also because Місто весни is sang by a man and a woman, except my voice fits the man's range better. Not like as in like I sound like a man, but as in Vakarchuk's range is in my range, and the woman's range is in John's range, and he can hit the notes that I would never be able to hit. And so I asked him if he would mind if I would teach him how to sing the song in Ukrainian, and if he would try to record it with me where he would like sing her part and I would sing his part. And so we're gonna attempt to do it. Because it's like Vakarchuk sings like lower and she sings higher, and John, well, he also has a much broader voice range than I do, and he's had like voice training. He's sang in a choir, like as in he is like sing, and I really haven't that much. I started singing very recently, and so I think that he just do a much better job with her with her part than I would. But yeah, I really want to, because I saw that girl, the Ula girl, who's Australian and doesn't speak Ukrainian, and she learned how to sing Stefania, and she did such an amazing job. And to be fair, like John doesn't speak Ukrainian, but he can parrot Ukrainian really well. Like his pronunciation is really good. So I am like, maybe, maybe this could work. Maybe I could teach you. So I was like giving him some words today, and I was like, can you say this? Can you say that? And so far he's like done a good job. But I realized that it's because I'm saying it to him and he's just repeating it, and it's a different deal if he had to like learn it and sing it. Yeah, well, that's what I do normally. Wait, what? EU may revoke Ukraine's status as EU candidate country. The European Commission has concluded that Ukraine meets the requirements for a candidate state and suggested the EU could cancel this status if Ukraine violates its commitments, the European Pravda news agency has said. Journalists note that such provisions have not yet been in any of European Commission's conclusions on applications for membership, which came from other states. In essence, Brussels said that Ukraine is not ready to be a candidate but gets this status anyway, but at the same time defined 7 blocks of reforms that Ukraine needs to implement in order to retain candidate status. Brussels reverses the right to take this status away at any moment or vice versa, to move Ukraine or Moldova to the next stage on the road to EU accession, the publication explains. В Нью-Йорку. Oh, ciao. Hi. Yeah, that's so strange, because they're basically just like, okay, well, we've never done this to any other state, but we're going to try and do this to Ukraine. Well, first of all, Ukraine tomorrow is voting on ratifying the Istanbul Convention, which essentially is legal protection against domestic violence. Because like in Ukraine, it's signed, the Istanbul Convention is signed, but it's not ratified. And in our laws, it's really hard to, like, let's say, prosecute a stalker or prosecute like sexual harassment without like the act of sexual assault, right? So there is a lot of stuff that needed to come into our laws, and we signed it in 2011 and still haven't ratified it because, well, we haven't had a good president until Zelensky. And so they're voting on it tomorrow in the parliament, and and in order for it to pass, it needs to have like 221 votes, I believe, or 223 votes, something like 220 something votes. And tomorrow they're voting on it, and that's one of the provisions in the EU. Also, one of the things that I personally am very happy about, and the Ukrainians that watch me might not be happy about, is so Ukraine recently, since 2014, so before 2014, nobody in Ukraine cared for owning guns. Our gun laws are pretty are very strict, and like you need a license, like you got to go through a bunch of documentation process, and also like all of your guns are registered, so the police and the government have records of them. So since 2014, all of the civilians are obviously traumatized by war, and now in 2022 even more. And because of Russian soldiers, invasions, and stuff like that, people are now much more open to loosening gun laws. And I'm horrified. Anastasia, who lives in Ukraine, is horrified. My dad's horrified. My mom's horrified. No, like it's like 50% of the population is like, F no, we don't want to become the next United States. And like 50% of the population is like, but we're scared, Russian invasion, you know? And so, and like those 50% are like super pro guns, right? Also, we're advocating yesterday in my comments being like, people should have the right to carry arms because because there are people with war trauma, and Americans are using people with war trauma and are being like, well, Ukrainians are okay with guns. Well, okay, Ukrainian people in Ukraine have never had this obsession with guns. They don't think it's their God-given right to carry guns. And we don't have like a gun culture in Ukraine. It's a different environment. It's a different politics. It's like again, like we've never had this like thing with guns. Like we've always had strict gun laws. We've always been okay with people having guns like on government registry. Like it's a very, 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 very different situation. And they were arguing about the US, and I'm like, guys, you know nothing about US politics. Please stay out of it and like don't argue that again. Anyways, I just like closed the comments because I was like, oh my God, now all of the like super people who are like super pro guns are like, well, look at your like look at what look at what like your people from your homeland are saying. They're supporting us. And I'm like, okay, people from my homeland are war traumatized. Anyways, but so I don't even know where I started with this. Oh, so I looked up yeah, exactly. Individual guns. Well, people's arguments were that, like, when Russian soldiers were invading, like, some of the people were successful in, like, in protecting themselves by using a gun. It's like, okay, if there is one Russian soldier in your house and you're lucky enough, you could shoot him, right? But if there are 5 of them and there's you with one gun, like, dude, there is nothing you can do. And also, like, most people who own guns in Ukraine are trained in how to handle guns. They didn't just buy them from a store. It's impossible. Again, it's like there's anyways, like it's just I'm not even going to go into that argument because it's the stupidest argument ever. And no, there shouldn't be like looser gun laws in Ukraine. But I was worried because so they did a poll on Dia, that app that I told you guys about, on whether on what the population thinks about gun laws. And 50% of Ukrainians voted that they want looser gun laws. And well, after the war, obviously. And I was like, oh my God. And so Anastasia was like, oh, I hope that they don't start doing anything against it. And then I went and I read that if you yes, but so I read that in order for you to be accepted into the EU, you have to have strict gun control. And there are minimum requirements for gun control, and you can make it stricter, but you can't make it any looser than that. And fortunately, we actually got it up our gun control regulation in order to be considered for EU, because it has to get stricter. Otherwise, the EU is not going to let us get in. So thank God, because no one's gonna like, they're not gonna loosen gun requirements in that case. Oh yeah, the US would not be able to get into the EU. Yeah, so EU has like human rights requirements. The EU has like gun laws requirements and stuff like that. So thank God, because I was like really worried for a second because like people don't understand what that leads to. Ukraine has never gone through gun violence because we don't have we've never like ridiculous gun violence, right? And people are like, well, it wouldn't happen to us because we're responsible with our guns. It's like, no, it's because barely anybody owns one. What? So anyways, like there are a lot of like laws that Ukraine needs to brush up on, and I'm very happy because I'm like, yay! Because they're gonna do everything in order to be able to be accepted to the EU, right? So human rights, who is she? Exactly. But so Ukraine's going to do everything in order for to brush up on our laws and in order to qualify for the EU, which makes me happy because I read their like minimum requirements, and it's like the Istanbul Convention has to be passed in order for us to be considered, the which is great because we've been fighting for that as Ukrainians. Then gun laws and gun regulation and stuff like that. So I'm like, yay, thank God. And also, like, the argument is stupid because Ukraine is under full scale invasion and people are traumatized because of horror stories from Russian soldiers. And a lot of Ukrainians are giving me like examples. They're like, well, a lot of my friends, especially from Donetsk and Crimea, fully support having like easier gun access. And I'm like, yeah, because they had a full scale Russian invasion into Donetsk and Luhansk and Crimea in 2014, where armed dudes came in, looted and raped and like did a lot of crazy stuff, and it was a literal invasion. People were tortured, people were being put in torture chambers, people were like, their tattoos were cut off with their skin, their houses were fully robbed. They were literally like, it was just like a mob that took over the entire like cities in half the states. Yeah, exactly. It like Tina is saying wartime gun access is different from peacetime. Exactly. Like, and people are traumatized by war. Of course they want access to weapons because there are multiple people with like, it's a whole different story. US is in peacetime, no one's invading US. Like, using that argument isn't like, oh, Ukraine did this, Ukraine did that. It's like, dude, we're under full scale invasion. And yes, Ukrainian civilians are a little out of their mind right now in terms of guns because they're traumatized by war. And even if Ukrainian people who are watching this are going to hate me for saying this, but like up until 2014, nobody cared for looser gun access. No one. And the invasion changed that. And I understand it because it's a literal full scale, like, army invasion. But at the same time, like, totally different to want to have a gun during a war, and totally different to want to have a gun just because it's your God-given right by the Constitution and the amendments. Well, they're amendments. They can be amended again. Okay? Anyways, the invaders made marginal gains in the outskirts of Severodonetsk and probably advanced to Metelkina, but have stalled in other directions. Institute for the Study of War. Other findings of the American Institute for the Study of War. Russian forces continue to try to block Ukrainian lines of communication on the Bakhmut-Lysychansk highway and carried out ground and artillery strikes along the route. Can get past there, right? Yeah. Oh, thank you, James. Thank you. The invaders seek to drive Ukrainian forces out of range of artillery fire of the railroad tracks around Kharkiv. Oh, I always forget to turn this off. Okay, wait, let me take my medication really quick because I usually just do it after the live, but it's probably better to do it on time. What about my YouTube? I am on YouTube. Hi, Christine. Hi, Christina. What about my YouTube? Oh, thank you. Yes, everybody, if you need to take your medication, please take your medication. This is a gentle reminder. Let's be responsible. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. The invaders seek to drive Ukrainian forces out of range of artillery fire of the railroad tracks around Kharkiv, which were used to support Russian offensive operations in the direction of Slavyansk. The Russian invaders continue to face partisan pressure in the occupied territories of southern Ukraine. Та, в мене є YouTube, такий самий Юлія. І я там роблю лайви з моєю взагалі вчителькою з історії зі школи. І ми робили 2 лайви вже, і вони там є. І перший про історію Криму, другий про історію Донбасу. А наступного тижня мав би бути лайв про історію Київської Росії, Московії, Катерини, Петра і всіх цих придурашених росіян. Придурашених російських правителів. To deal with the orcs, I'd lost his grenade access for get guns. Yeah, true. So Ben Stiller is in Ukraine. Woohoo! Another Hollywood celebrity came to Ukraine. So Ben Stiller is in Lviv. And he's just like, Дякую. Спасибо. So basically, he's with the United Nations. And the United Nations said that the actor is a goodwill ambassador and plans to communicate with refugees from Ukraine. The actor himself wrote on Twitter that he arrived in Polish Rzeszów. There are no tweets about the visit to Ukraine yet. So he was, yes, Zoolander 3. So he was in Rzeszów yesterday, but today he was noticed in Lviv. And here is and here is the evidence of that, I guess, if anybody needs it. It's in the center of Lviv. I mean, like, I think it's nice because it keeps the eyes in, like, the publicity. It keeps the eyes on Ukraine, so it's nice. But it's just, like, so strange to me when these celebrities are like, yeah, let me just randomly go to a war zone for some photos. This is so interesting because it's like 10 minutes away from my apartment. Hi, Colorado. Ukraine will be able to liberate Donbass with Western weapons, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg. Oh, also, do you want to know the biggest clown moment in the history of France, I hope? What's his face? Macron has lost his parliament majority completely. So bad. Like, tanked it. And it's not like, it's not like I'm happy. It's not like I feel like he deserves it a lot. I don't, it's not like I'm, a little bit bitterly happy about this. It's not like I'm like to him, at all. Not at all. No. Ну, я разговариваю на английском с 4 лет. Я научилась разговаривать на английском от англичанки, когда мне было 4 года. Ну, я в Украине научилась, но как бы человек, который меня учил, он не разговаривал на украинском. No, I don't think the far right has their parliament. Wait, actually, let me ask because my roommate is French and she will know. And she also literally works for the French embassy. So let me ask. Emmy, can I ask you a French question? So I have an update. Basically, in order for Macron to pass a law, he would have to make alliances with other parties in the government, in the parliament. So he lost the absolute majority, but he still has 250 something deputies from his party. Then the right party has 64, the left party has 100 something. And Marine Le Pen, the far right party, has 89 deputies, which is a lot because it's basically one fifth of the parliament because it's almost 500 seats. So that's bad. That's really bad. So that's not great. Yeah. Is that Cindy making noises? Okay. So, Ukraine will be able to liberate Donbass with Western weapons. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg. Ukrainians are bravely defending themselves against the Russian invaders. Although fighting in Donbass is being waged by Russia with increasing brutality, Ukrainian soldiers are putting up a courageous resistance. With more modern weaponry, the likelihood increases that Ukraine will again be able to push Putin's troops out of the Donbass, Stoltenberg said in an interview with Bild am Sonntag. What else did the NATO Secretary General say? 1. The war in Ukraine could last for years. You can't weaken support for Ukraine. NATO will not become a party to the conflict and will not send its military to Ukraine. The alliance will continue to strengthen its defenses. NATO does not note Russia's increased readiness to use nuclear weapons, but Russian rhetoric regarding their use is dangerous and irresponsible. Thank you. Yeah, the stuff with Macron is like a double-edged sword, right? Because on the one hand, it's like, haha. On the other hand, it's yeah, Poland. Well, is that Cindy barking? Jesus, what is going on? Дякую, вам дякую. Yes, Cindy. Jesus Christ. Hello. Come in. God. Dude, you can sleep on the couch and it will be fine. This girl is so moody. But so yes, basically, like, it's a double-edged sword, at least because like, yes, Macron lost, but at the same time, like, the other options are really bad too. So it's not great. Gracias. Also, I have potentially very interesting news. So my grandmother is getting laid off in August. She was working at the admissions committee of a university, my dad's mom, and they are laying off some of their staff because, well, there is wartime, and it's hard to support all of the staff. And my grandma is 81, and so she's getting laid off. But she has been working this entire time, and one of the things that keeps her sane is the fact that she goes to work. And she's getting laid off in August, and that's what it is, and that's unfortunate. But so me and my dad were thinking that maybe she could come here and stay with me for like a month or two, which would be awesome because I would take her on vacation or something like that. But the thing is that she's saying that like the flight would be very difficult for her and she doesn't know if she could like handle it. So we're like looking into flights from Warsaw that could sort of have like, maybe like, I don't know, somehow figure out like how to send her here with business class so she could like lay down the whole flight. I don't know. It's like difficult, expensive, and crazy. But one of the things that I was thinking is because my grandma needs to feel like she's doing something, otherwise she feels useless. So picture this. YouTube. Weekend cooking with my Ukrainian grandmother, because I bet you I won't even have to make her cook for videos. I can just film her while she does it, because the one thing that my grandmother does love to do is to stuff people to the point that they might explode with food. And for those of you who enjoy comfort food, well, my grandmother is very comfortable with putting lots of butter in everything. Yeah. I was like telling John about this. Yes, I am in America. I have been in America for a little while, but my dad and my mom and my yes, I'm in the U.S. My dad and my mom and my grandmothers and my grandfather and my aunt and all of my family is in Ukraine. I was born and raised in Ukraine, and I moved to the U.S. Like 11 years ago when I was 17. I'm almost 28. But yes, but this is like the thing. I was like thinking because, well, hi, nice to meet you. My Ukrainian Baba, and I'm exactly the same. Uh, send food to you through the video chat. Yeah, that's like the thing. My dad was like so funny. He was like, "Mom, let's send you to Yulia. Like, just stay with her for a little bit. Like cook her some normal food. Like just do things." And like you'll have something to do. And I was like, cook her some normal food is not what my grandma does. Stuff her with food to the point that she doesn't fit through a door is what my grandma does. Wait, which territory? I'm so sorry to hear that. Which territory of Ukraine? I think I might need. Yeah, I hope I can, but I don't know if she's gonna like. This is the thing. We're trying to figure out how to make the flight the easiest onto her. Oh no. Ah, I'm so sorry to hear that. How are they? You are not in Kherson though, right? You're not in Kherson though, right? I mean, it's not like it makes anything better, but I'm really, really sorry to hear that. That's awful. Do you have connection with them? Like, are you able to talk to them? Sorry, there is a Ukrainian person and their family is in Kherson. It's an occupied territory of Ukraine, and it's really upsetting. Are you able to intermittent contact? Okay. But at least you know that they're okay, right? Like you hear from them. So that's something. I mean, it's not much, but it's something. How are they holding up? How is the well, I mean, of course, climate and it's oh yeah. Well, hopefully we're gonna be able to liberate Kherson soon because I've been seeing that ZSU is pushing the line of the front line by like 5 to 10 kilometers, right? Mm-hmm. Of course you're stressed. I understand. Bye, Scooter. Thank you for stopping by. I don't know. Someone is talking about a user from Ukraine. I'm not really sure who you're talking about, but Birdman Ukraine, I hope that we can liberate Kherson soon, and I hope that you can see your family. I'm really, really sorry that you have to go through that. That's horrific, and I'm really, really sorry that you can't see your family and that they are in Kherson. Well, see, like that's a double-edged sword because it's um it's so scary, but also fighting getting closer means that Zesu is getting closer, which is good. Well, this is the thing. So, as I said earlier, which user is it? Sayel367. Which user? So Jens Stoltenberg says that they're sending us enough weapons that we can liberate Donbass. So hopefully they're not just saying it. Hopefully they're not just saying it. Well, then I don't know who you're. Yeah, that was such a bittersweet moment because we were talking about, Ukrainian cooking and stuff, and I'm so sorry to hear that. That's awful. Hi, Iowa. Hi, Rosie. That's awful. I'm really sorry to hear that your family is in Kherson. And again, I really hope that ЗСУ допоможуть якнайшвидше. Це дуже-дуже жахливо. Я навіть не можу собі уявити, якщо чесно. That's like one of the things, like I've said it so many times, but like as far as being a lucky Ukrainian goes, I consider myself pretty lucky because, well, my family is in Lviv, and a lot of Ukrainians can't say the same because their families are either in occupied cities or in cities that are being shelled really hard. And it can mean a lot of different things being Ukrainian these days. Like, of course, we're all very worried for our entire nation. And of course, we're all doing everything that we can to help our nation. But at the same time, it's not the same experience for everybody. And just because I can be calm and collected and read the news and talk about these things doesn't mean that that most people can, because most people's realities are very different from mine. And today I saw a video that really, 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 here, I'll show it to you. I saw a video that pissed me off to the point of no return. Vasil sent it to me, and it's Vasil sent it to me because he was like horrified. And before I show you the video, people like to compare Ukraine to other countries that have been in a war. And they like to say that Ukraine got it easy, right? Because Ukrainian refugees look well attended to, they're clean, they have clothes, they have stuff like that. Well, first of all, Ukraine was better off in terms of like level of life to begin with than a lot of other countries there that are at war. And so people do have clothes and people do have stuff like that. Ukraine did everything that they could in order to evacuate as many people as possible from hotspots. So a lot of refugees were able to cross the border and flee to Europe. And yes, they do not look like they came from a war zone, right? There is no look when you come from a war zone. And instead of like shitting on Ukrainians being like, oh, you got it easy, be happy that people were able to save themselves and that our government did everything in their power in order to save those people. And then I see videos like this and I get so upset because these things are not comparable. It's not a competition of who had it worse.
Some people really gotta fight to survive, and some people are white guys in 1985. Some people really gotta fight to survive. So the rhetoric is basically some people really gotta fight to survive, and then the other thing says, and some people are white Ukrainians in 2022. And here's the thing. Level of life in Ukraine from the beginning was much higher than level of life in Syria when the war struck. The invasion of Ukraine happened a very different way than the invasion of Syria. The government of Ukraine did everything in their power in order to evacuate people once the hostilities started. Yes, we did have preferential treatment in a lot of areas because we're white. Unfortunately, it's fucked up. And I am not saying that it's not fucked up that a lot of refugees are not getting the same treatment as Ukrainians. But you can't say that Ukrainian people haven't gone through atrocities. It doesn't matter whether you fucking look like a war refugee or you don't. You're still going through the same fucking trauma as a person who does look like a war refugee. What is a war refugee supposed to be looking like? What, poor, not cleaned, like looking disheveled, looking traumatized? That's not how it works. First of all, second of all, like, Ukrainian people had to literally just cross the border. Syrian people, Afghani people had to embark on a whole journey to get to like a safe country. Yes, we're in a very center of Europe. Proximity means something. It was much easier to evacuate people from Ukraine, but also our government did a lot for these people to be able to be safe. Also, there are people living in freaking concentration camps in Kherson and in Mariupol. In Mariupol, especially, there is a cholera outbreak and a dysentery outbreak in 2022. People are living in buildings that have no roofs. So it's like, are you joking? Also, yes, we had Poland as our very big ally because we had really good relationships with Poland. What is this, a contest of who has it worse? Like, no, stop advocating to not help Ukrainians. Stop saying that Ukrainians are to blame because they're white or because they're this or because they're that. That's not how it works. Just advocate for other refugees as well. Everybody should have a good treatment as a refugee. Everybody should have a good treatment as a person. But it's like so screwed up. It's so screwed up to be like, oh, other people had to fight to survive, and some people are white refugees from Ukraine in 2022. You think they didn't have to fight to survive? Do you know how many people died because of the shelling of the Kramatorsk station? First of all, the war in Afghanistan had 100 something missiles dropped onto Afghanistan in 8 years of war. Ukraine had more than 2,000 missiles at this point dropped onto it in almost 4 months of war. We as Ukrainians don't have to fight to survive? What the fuck? Exactly. It's not a contest of who suffers more, but it's like, it's so disrespectful. It's so disgusting. It's so tone deaf to say that Ukrainians had it easy. There are air raid alarms everywhere in Ukraine still. There are air raid alarms in Lviv almost every day. And Lviv is like far west. And again, they're still shelling everywhere. And there are so many missiles. There hasn't been a single war where as many missiles have been launched as in Ukraine. Are you joking? We didn't have to fight to survive. Whoever these people are who believe this and post that, my God, I feel so extremely sorry for you because you're a miserable human being, a selfish, miserable person who's invalidating someone else's struggle. Like, heartless, crude human being. Yeah, exactly. Not since World War II. That's what I meant. As in, like, but World War II is also a world war. You know? Russian invaders, in order to somehow justify the destruction of civilian objects on the territory of Ukraine, continue information jamming about the location of military units in schools, hospitals, and churches. Head of the RMA on the situation in Luhansk region. The bodies of 2 men killed by Russian shelling in Lysychansk have been found. In Severodonetsk, the enemy in the middle of the city conducts round-the-clock aerial reconnaissance with drones, corrects fire, quickly adjusting to our changes in defense readouts. Again, the areas near bridges are heavily shelled. The Azot was hit twice. The gatehouse and sewage treatment plant were destroyed. Also, my dad said that he heard in the radio today, and I could not find this information confirmed, that some Russian celebrity, like Russian singer or actress or something like that, came out and said that she is asking Volodymyr Zelensky to lay down the arms, and in exchange for that, she's going to spend a night with him. I just want to say, just when we thought that Russia could not stoop any lower, because how much lower can you stoop? Like, I feel like these people just literally have absolutely zero, just zero. I have no words. I lack words very rarely. And I think it's like the third time in 4 months that I'm lacking words because, first of all, no, thank you. Nobody wants to sleep with you, my dear. If you want to sleep with Zelensky, just say so, But like, he does not want to sleep with you. He's happily married. He has 2 kids. Also, he's not gonna lay down arms for your very, very, very disgusting offer. Like, what's wrong with you? You think your vagina is worth laying down arms and surrendering a country? Wow, you must be really full of yourself, my dear. Yeah. Oh yeah, no self-respect at all. Oh my gosh, but this is Russian brain. It's like, hey, I prostitute. This is a very Russian mentality. Hi, Luann. Very normal Russian mentality, unfortunately. Yeah. So, wait. So one of you, I didn't see who said that, but one of you said that they saw that. Where did you see that? Could you send me the video or the link? Because I wanted to make a video on this because I was like, news from Orklandia. Like, just when you thought they could not stoop any lower, they exceed all. One of the things that I really appreciate about Russia, it's like when you think that they've stooped to their lowest level, they always manage to surpass all of your expectations. They always manage to exceed your expectations of their personal stupidity, and it's lovely. Also, I don't know. Thank you. I don't know if you heard this, but there was also this very interesting situation between the Kazakh president and Vladimir Putin at the economic summit of CSTO, which is a Russian trade union, which is basically Russia trying to control other states that used to belong to Soviet Union. And that's the trade treaty, the CSTO treaty that Yanukovych in 2014 wanted to sign instead of the European Union. So yeah, it's like their own little union. So at the CSTO summit, Putin was talking about DNR and LNR and all of these things, and Transnistria and Ossetia and Abkhazia and stuff like that. And so Tokayev, who is the Kazakh president, stood up and said, "Let me clarify. We do not recognize any of these pseudo-republics, DNR, LNR, Transnistria, Ossetia, Abkhazia. They're not real places. And these are pseudo-republics that shouldn't exist, and they're parts of countries, and you're trying to separate them." And he was like, if you keep, there are more than 300 countries in the world, and if every single city decided to separate itself, we're like, what the hell? And so Putin was so shocked that he apparently was like, because one of the things is he expects that all of the people who were at the CSTO summit, they all support him and they're all his puppets and stuff like that. And so then Russia came out and some of their representatives were like, oh my God, when Kazakhstan was losing its territorial integrity and its sovereignty, who stepped in to help? Russia did. You should just be grateful. And Tokayev, once again, which again, us as Ukrainians, we are so surprised. And thank you for the gifts. So surprised because we did not expect it from him. But he stepped up again and he said, first of all, it wasn't Russia. It was... Oh my God, dude, whose puppet are you? Not everybody is a puppet when you have a brain. You're usually a puppet when you're easily manipulated. I'm not easily manipulated. You're a puppet of your Russian government that pays you to write stupid stuff like that, and that's upsetting, but it is what it is. Anyway, so Tokayev stepped up and he said Russia did not step in, and Russia did not. We're not going to be on our knees thanking Russia throughout our entire existence. He said Russia always likes to make it look like they step in to save everybody and then expects everybody to be on their knees in front of Russia forever. And he said that's not going to happen to us. Russia did not save us when we needed it. It was a specific organization that did, that doesn't exist anymore. And he was literally like, no, we're not going to be on our knees in front of you. And that's great because the card house is falling. Because all of those leaders used to, in fact, support Putin, which is why he's so confused and he's so surprised. Because all of these guys used to kind of like genuinely expect, like, you know, protection from Russia and expect like partnerships with Russia and stuff like that. But I think they saw that you can never be autonomous or never do anything that you want to do to your country if you have any business with Russia, because the second that you steer this much away from what they want to do, they're going to shell you and they're going to invade you and they're going to start annexing republics. Hi. And so they were like, no, you know what? We don't need this shit. We don't need this crap. This has happened to Ukraine. We don't want that. But so yeah, that was I was like, wow, okay. And it's funny because I have a friend who's from Kazakhstan, and I texted her, but she's got an asylum from Kazakhstan. She hasn't been there in a very long time. She criticizes Kazakhstani government a lot. She criticizes it for like all of its ties to Russia and stuff like that. And so I texted her and I was like, did you see what the Kyiv said? And she said, what? I didn't see the news today. And I go, he told Putin that he doesn't recognize all the Russian pseudo-created republics like DNR and LNR, Ossetia and Transnistria, and said that in front of Putin. Russia then came back saying, who bailed Kazakhstan out when it was losing sovereignty? Russia, you should be grateful. And he responded, no, it didn't. You should stop pretending like you always help everybody. And my friend responds, oh, finally someone grew balls in this country. And I thought it was just so funny because she like fled Kazakhstan for multitudes of reasons, and she has political asylum, or rather asylum in the United States. And she like absolutely despises Kazakhstan government. She despises Russia. Like there's so much, she's so critical of everything. And it's so funny because she's just like, finally someone grew balls. And I thought it was the most perfect response because I was like, hey, I have something positive to say about Kazakhstan. And she's like, about time. Okay. Moving on to something not as positive. Thank you, Sid. Thank you, Bea. During the day, the invaders shelled Mykolaiv with X-55 missiles in the industrial zone, and in the evening with calibers from the Kherson region. One rocket was destroyed by our military, 2 hit a plastic window factory, 1 more hit an apartment building, and the next one hit a sausage factory. Preliminary, there are no victims. The scale of destruction is being specified. The Ukrainian 40th Artillery Brigade hit a Russian rocket artillery group, destroying at least 4 BM-21s and damaging another Ural truck. For the first time in the last 17 years, a Ukrainian won the European Epi Championship. The 25-year-old Ukrainian Vlada Kharkova defeated the Italian silver medalist of the 2016 Olympic Games, Rosella Fiammingo, 15-10 in the final, and won the first gold of her career at the European Championships. Not the sausage factory, I know. All of the sausages like Cine. Oh my gosh, you know what I found out? So apparently in Odessa, and I found this out on live yesterday, apparently in Odessa and in the south, they call eggplants blues. So they call eggplants Cines. Cine. They call them Cine. They call eggplants Cine in Odessa and southern Ukraine in general. So Cine is officially an eggplant now. And you know, shape-wise, she kind of looks like an eggplant. I concur. I'm okay with that. Cine is an eggplant. I was like, wait, and I called my dad and I was like, wait, didn't you know this? And he was like, yeah. And I was just, why didn't you tell me? It's like this entire time I've been calling her bratwurst sausage. I've been calling her gremlin. I've been calling her gargoyle. And she was an eggplant all along. Like, how dare you, Dad? How dare you not having have told me? Blue yellow eggplant. Yes. I know. Oh my god, new meaning for the eggplant. I should just start. Oh my god, can you imagine if I just start substituting city with an eggplant and I just text people and I'm like, oh, I'm taking eggplant emoji on a walk. What are you doing? Oh, I'm hanging out with an eggplant emoji. Just to like spice up some of my conversations with people. You know what? Actually, guys, I'm gonna do this is not like the content that I want to do at all, but I'm gonna do this tomorrow, and every single friend of mine that texts me and asks me what I'm doing or just wants to talk to me about something, I'm literally gonna start referring to Cine within the conversation as eggplant emoji, and let's see what the responses are like. I'm gonna say the eggplant is. I'm just watering the eggplant. Oh my god! I'm so excited for this. I have one particular friend. Her name is Gabby. I know, an aubergine. I have one particular friend. Her name is Gabby, and I feel like she's just gonna be the star of this conversation. I think that is gonna go over so well. Oh my god. I'm taking the eggplant out in public today. Yes. Oh my god. I'm so excited. I'm so sorry for all of you who are not excited for this bit of content on a video. Like, I'm sorry, but I just feel like it's gonna be very funny. And if it's funny enough, I'm gonna have to share. Yep. Eggplant is just rolling in the grass. Just eggplant emoji. Oh my god. I'm too excited about it. Oh, hi, Thomas. You changed your profile picture and I didn't recognize you. Say to John. Oh my god, no. Maybe. We will see. But also I did so here there are two scenarios in the way it can go over, because I did tell him today that eggplant, the city is eggplant in the southern parts of Ukraine, but his memory sometimes is also very goldfish. So let's hope he forgot. Day in the life as an eggplant. Just taking a flight with an eggplant. So loyal to me, yeah. There are so many funny things that you can say. Oh my god. Okay, so a convoy of trucks with stolen Ukrainian grain is heading towards Crimea. No, he's not. He is anything but. On the way to Chungar checkpoint, about 100 trucks can be counted. They stand in kilometer-long queues. Earlier, the so-called head of Crimea, Sergei Aksyonov, publicly admitted Russia sells grain exported from the temporarily occupied parts of Ukraine. A fuel tank exploded in the Novomoskovsk district. A rescuer died. 2 more people were wounded. British intelligence update. In recent days, both Russia and Ukraine have continued to conduct heavy artillery bombardments on axes to the north, east, and south of Severodonetsk pocket, but with little change. Oh, thank you, Kay. In the front line. Combat units from both sides are committed to intense combat in the Donbass and are likely experiencing variable morale. Ukrainian forces have likely suffered desertions in recent weeks. However, Russian morale highly likely remains especially troubled. Cases of whole Russian units refusing order and armed standoffs between officers and their troops continue to occur. The Russian authorities likely struggle to bring legal pressure to bear on military dissenters, hampered by the invasion's official status as a special military operation rather than as a war. Drivers for low Russian morale include perceived poor leadership, limited opportunity for rotation of units out of combat, very heavy casualties, combat stress, continued poor logistics, and problems with pay. Many Russian personnel of all ranks also likely remain confused about the war's objective. Volodymyr Zelensky published photos with doctors and congratulated them on their professional holiday. Today, our doctors celebrate their professional holiday dedicated to their work. They show heroism saving lives every day in the most difficult conditions, in hospitals and near the front line. Thank you for your work and good heart. I saw these photos. They're very troubling, so proceed at your own risk. They're just heavy. Wait. Participants of the upcoming NATO summit in Madrid are preparing a statement that Russia is no longer a partner for the alliance, but a threat to peace and stability. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg. Volodymyr Zelensky published a selection of photos for Father's Day. Being a father is a great responsibility and a great happiness. It is strength, wisdom, motivation to go forward and not to give up, and no matter how difficult it is, to protect and defend the most precious, the future of your family, your children, and therefore the whole of Ukraine. Here are some photos for Father's Day. All news programs from Russia have been banned in Moldova. Moldovan President Maya Sandu has signed a law banning the broadcasting of Russian news and analytical programs, as well as military films from Russia. It will take effect next week. One of the victims of the missile attack on an oil depot in the Novomoskovsk region died in hospital. Doctors did everything, but they could not save him. This enemy attack took the lives of 2 people. Damn all those who send missiles at us, Reznichenko wrote. Ukraine's losses are much lower than Russia's, National Security and Defense Council Secretary Alexei Danilov. At the same time, the exact number of dead and wounded Ukrainian soldiers Danilov did not report. The situation in the front lines is tense, difficult, and I am not one of those who believes that the Russian army is weak. They have very large resources and they brought them here, Danilov noted. He also confirms that the Russians have an advantage in artillery and heavy equipment. Our soldiers are not afraid of that. We're holding our positions. From time to time, we launch counterattacks, but the war is still going on and we are far from the end of it. Tonight, our air defense system shot down 2 missiles on the territory of the Odessa region. The missiles flew from the territory of the temporarily occupied Crimea. Kazakhstan calls to abandon nuclear weapons. Foreign Minister Mukhtar Tlyuberdi said against the background of the war in Ukraine that it is necessary to develop a plan for the elimination of nuclear weapons by 2045. We call on all states, including the nuclear powers, to develop a phased plan for the complete elimination of nuclear weapons by 2045 by the UN Centennial. Proposals and agreements to achieve this goal could be reflected in the outcomes of both the first NPT conference and the NPT review conference, he said in his author's article for Kazakhstan and Foreign Media. Yeah. Russia admits to kidnapping over 307,000 children in Ukraine. Russia said that their troops have deported 1,936,911 Ukrainians to Russia since the beginning of the war, of which 307,423 are children. Updated map of the situation in the east of Ukraine from European war experts. I don't think it would go on for another 8 years because this time our military is more prepared and this time we have support and weapons from the West, which we did not have in 2014, and our military was absolute garbage. Wait. Oh, interesting. Still don't know what the seashells did. I was like, maybe the yesterday's seashell situation increased something, but I just got a notification that my seashell is bigger. And I'm like, what? Because I just got another seashell like reminder. In the European war experts' opinion, the Russian Federation took control of the village of Rubivka north of Popasna. Fights for control over Severodonetsk continue. In turn, the armed forces of Ukraine continue counter-offensive actions towards Kherson. I don't think Russia is exaggerating. They kept accepting refugees from Ukraine to Russia. Armed forces of Ukraine, with the help of American howitzers, destroy enemies. In the photo, the 44th Separate Artillery Brigade, named after Hetman Danilo Apostol, and the said howitzers. О, будь ласка, скинь мені це на Інстаграм, якщо можеш. Будь ласочка, я тебе дуже прошу. В мене Інстаграм такий самий, як мій TikTok, але в мене відкриті DMs. Я буду настільки вдячна, дуже дякую. So these are the howitzers at work. Thank you for being here to receive the info. Oh. Дуже вам дякую. Дуже дякую. Yellow shell. 24 hours per day. Yeah. Ukrainian army advanced more than 10 kilometers towards Melitopol. This was stated in his video message by the mayor of Melitopol, Ivan Fedorov. According to him, the armed forces of Ukraine have recently made significant progress towards Kherson, a similar situation in the Zaporizhia region, where the Ukrainian military advanced more than 10 kilometers from Zaporizhia towards Melitopol. Verkhovna Rada banned Russian music in Ukrainian media and public space. So I'm going to play you something. I don't know what it is, but there is this person, Max Barskih, which I never liked. I'm like okay with him now. He has 2 new tracks. They're in Ukrainian. Before that, he was recording a lot of Russian music. He was working in Russia. He's making a lot of money in Russia. He's the guy who canceled his concert and didn't pay Russians back for the tickets because he was like, no, this is going to go to support Ukraine. So his name is Max Barskih, and he released this track that I was talking about the other day that I really liked, Don't Fuck With Ukraine. Большое спасибо. Украина понимает, что в Беларуси большое партизанское движение, и мы поддерживаем Беларусь, и мы хотим вам, ребята, всего хорошего тоже. Мы знаем, что ваши войска сказали, что не пойдут воевать в Украину, и что сказали, что если пойдут, то сдадутся. Мы знаем, что Беларусь поддерживает. Спасибо большое. So this is the song, and like his songs, like the new ones, you know, the Ukrainian songs, like this is a new one as well in Ukrainian. It's pretty good. Like I can say I like it, right? But then if I listen to his songs that he wrote in Russian, Героям слава, и я знаю, что усе you have у вас есть в Беларуси тоже слоган. Я просто читала его только я никогда не слышала его, я только читала, я не знаю, или я правильно его выговариваю. Живи Беларусь! Живи Беларусь! Я не знаю, или вы фолловите, есть девочка, она креатор из Беларуси, ее зовут Margo_Vich, и она из Беларуси, она очень много рассказывает про Беларусь и про диктатуру в Беларуси. Она очень клевая, если вы ее не фолловите, то я вам советую. So basically these are sorry, I'm just talking to somebody from Belarus, and I just really wanted to respond to them. So it's a really nice song, right? And then he has his Russian music, okay? And these are his like hits. And I'm sorry, but it's all like и вам обнимашки, ребята. Yeah, but when you listen to his Russian music, it just sounds like it's such like we have this word called popsa, and it means pop music, but like derogatory, like popsa, you know, like too poppy. Like I don't know, it's just like so gross to me. I can't even listen to Russian music. Да, Лукашенко дебіл, але росіян в Білорусі, вони ж реально мають партизанський рух. Like, I can't listen to it. I realized this today, you know? I realized this today, and I was like, and I was just like, oh my God, Max Barsky here. This is what. Here. Yeah, exactly. No, it's not like 80s new wave. It's just very tacky, generic pop. This was the right description. And it's yes, I do teach. Oh, Valeo, hi. Hi, Angela, I missed you. I don't listen to Russian artists, and I never did, and I don't know what any of the Russian artists sound like. I literally have never listened to Russian artists for the reason of like it all being popsa. Yeah, exactly. It all sounds identical, and it's all like, you left me for a rich man, you left me for another man, I'm so heartbroken, oh my God. Like, ew. None of this music has like really oh my God, that's so, wait, you got your Ukrainian purse, do you love it? Yeah, all of Russian freaking like pop music sounds the same, and it's so bad. And so it's crazy to me that this is the same person just singing in two different languages. Yay, I'm so happy that you love it, Angela. It's just like, ugh. And honestly, like, I'm happy that Max Barsky didn't pay back for the concert tickets. I'm happy that he like took a stand. I'm happy that he went into Teroborona, territorial defense. Oh, yay! I'm so happy that you love it. Also, oh my gosh, guys, I have an incredible announcement, and I'm going to make a video about it. Thank you, Angela, for reminding me. So we all know Lamar bags, the conceptual leather bags from Ukraine that are handmade, hand-stamped leather, and the woman is from Kyiv in the Carpathian Mountains, and she's a Hutzul, and they have this family business, and so her brother fights on the front lines of the war, and she's the one who makes these bags, and you guys, a lot of you ordered these bags, and you really love them, and so Oksana actually reached out to me today, and she was like, hey, Yulia, yes, the gift from Dad, yes. So she reached out to me, and she was like, hey, I saw your foundation initiative with Max and Yulia, and I thought about something, and she said that she wants to donate 10% of profits from every bag to Max and Yulia's foundation to return of childhood, and so she's going to retroactively count every order that came through my account that came from you guys. So as in like because you saw her bags on my account, and she's going to donate 10% of all of those profits, and every single order that comes through this account from now on is going to go to Max and Yulia, 10%. And I'm going to make a video about it, and John is going to help me like film it because I wanted to make like a big announcement out of it. And I don't know, because I don't know how many bags she sold to date, but I think it's about like 50. And so according to my calculations, it's about $900, but that's like revenue, I guess. I don't know what pure profit is. So from revenue, it's like $900, but I could say that we probably at this point, because of you guys, Yulia and Max are going to get like $450 or $500 for Return of Childhood Foundation, and more kids are going to be able to get help. And I think it's just so incredible. And I was like, oh my God, Oksana, I just like, you're so good. Thank you so much. I don't know. The bags are about 170, 180, about 180. Well, they're different ones. Like they range from 150 to 250, I think. But yeah, they're incredible bags. They're very well made. So I didn't get that bag, but a new one arrived. And so yes, I do have a bag. The first one was stolen, and then my dad sent me another one. But so me and Oksana since then have been in very close contact, and Oksana is honestly incredible. I think I'm gonna help her with her social media a little bit, because she says that she sumka. Yeah, Oksana says that she is Oksana says that she doesn't really know how to like operate on TikTok or even Instagram, and she says that she's having a really hard time with that. So I think I'm going to help her out with it, because I really do love the brand. Honestly, like this is like one of the things, and I don't say it just because, but I genuinely do say it. It's like I would never show you guys anything or talk about anything that I literally wouldn't wear myself, or that I don't absolutely stand by, because there is no point. Like it's morals and its integrity, right? And so if at any point I'm like talking about a Ukrainian brand, or I'm talking about something like that, I'm doing it because I genuinely love the brand. Like I don't get anything out of it, at least now. At least now and stuff like that. But like as in like, I would love to partner up with some brands in the future, the brands that I believe in, but at the same time, like I would never get anything that's like anything that I don't believe in, I wouldn't. And I really like promoting Ukrainian brands because, well, they're Ukrainian brands. And I only talk about the brands that I know myself. And also there is this Ukrainian clothing brand for kids, and it's on my it's on Yewleea.com in the Shop Ukraine section, right? Shop UA section on my website with the spy gear. And it's called Afine, like AFYNY. And I've had it there for a while. It's a children's brand. It has like the cutest children's clothes ever. And so my dad texts me today and he's like, hey, Yulia, a friend of mine has a children's brand. You should check it out. It's really cool. And you should put it on your shop thing, on your Shop Ukrainian thing, so people know about it. He's like, it's a friend of mine. She used to be a teller at the bank where I go, but now she's also like a fashion designer, and now she has her brand. And he's like, it's a really cool brand of like kids clothing. And he was like, what do you like, call me so we can maybe talk about it, because like, I would love to like help her out, give her like some exposure and stuff. And I was telling my dad that maybe what we could do is she could send me some kids clothes and I could put them up for raffle, like literally just a giveaway. And that way, she would get exposure, and one of you guys or a couple of you guys would get like cool clothes for your kids. So yeah, so I thought maybe like something like this would be cool. But so yeah, that's a thought that I had, and it was really funny because my dad was like, oh, you should check out this brand because it's a friend of mine's. And I was like, I have this brand, I've seen this brand, Dad, I've done so much research on Ukrainian brands. How's your business doing? I hope it's doing well. Well, I mean, it's like, it's not really like a business, right? It's mostly, I mostly made that in order to donate money to the Ukrainian army and to Вам дуже дякую. So I mostly created the store in order to donate money to the Ukrainian army and to Anastasia, who's my aunt and who's the illustrator behind the Ukrainian American spy logo. And I mean, people buy things sometimes. James had gotten his second pair of track pants. Thank you, thank you so much. Дуже дякую. And what is my store? It's Yewleea.com, and this is from my store. So this hoodie is from my store. And 25% of profits go to the Ukrainian army, and 25% of profits go to Anastasia, who's my aunt, and the illustrator behind this. And it's in the bio. It's the spy shop. It's the Ukrainian It's the spy shop, spy gear shop, and it's in my link in bio. The website is Yewleea.com. And this hoodie is from the website, and there are sweatpants from this hoodie that are also really cool, and they're genuinely really nice quality. Like I did not go with like cheap distributors, so the things are not like, I would say they're like medium priced, because the profit margin on me buying this hoodie and me selling this hoodie is $10 or like $15 at most. It depends. Some items are 10, some are 15. So it's I'm not making bank on these, and I keep 50% to reinvest back into the store because I pay for this sustaining of the store, obviously, and I can't necessarily yet afford it. And 25% goes to the army, and 25% goes to Anastasia. But in the future, once the store pays for itself, I am going to give Anastasia a much larger percentage and the army a much larger percentage. Also, I'm going to do Ukrainian American spy stamps soon from Ukrposhta, and I'm going to sell them, and all of the profits are going to go to the army. So there is that. We're trying to do a lot of fun things, and we're trying to help Ukraine in fun ways. And also, these hoodies are genuinely very, very nice hoodies, and so are the sweatpants. Like, I'm not even saying, like, I spent a while trying to find a distributor with things that I like. They're cotton, they're pigment dyed, they're good for the environment. Like there is a lot. I very much care about these things, so that's just all you need to know about my store. Oh, thank you, Poli-sci history guy. Oh, cool. I like your nickname or your handle nickname. I'm so old fashioned. Okay, so how they prepared Russian tank units for the invasion of Ukraine. A document appeared on the network which describes the condition of the equipment, no maintenance and spare parts, and how unprofessional the crews were, no training at all and no licenses for driving. Tanks, in fact, were just scrap metal. The second army in the world, they said. There's a whole document, but it's in Russian. Would love to translate that, so I'm just going to put that in saved. Advisor to the head of the presidential office, Mikhailo Podolyak, pointed out the main difference between Ukraine and Russia. Russian propagandists worry that Ukrainian defenders will study abroad before going to the front. This is because the life of a citizen is the highest value for the Ukrainian state. Russian mobilized do not study anywhere. They're immediately sent as cannon fodder to death. Yeah. The Russian army once again shelled Yewleea town in the Zaporizhia region. Russian troops are advancing on Kharkiv again. As the advisor to the head of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Vadim Denisenko, said on the air of the telethon, the situation to the north of Kharkiv is again quite complicated. According to him, Russian troops are trying to get closer to Kharkiv in order to try again to make it a frontline city. There are many villages in the Kyiv region where ground combat operations were not conducted, but the invaders attacked them from helicopters and artillery. They aimed at the Ukrainian defenders who defended the settlements. As a result of shelling, entire houses with civilians inside were destroyed. Good morning. This video shows the results of such pinpoint strikes in the village of Maidanivka. In one of these houses, after the arrival of a shell, a man's head was blown off while he was having lunch. Most of the houses in Maidanivka are intact. A crater in the asphalt at the entrance to the village and about a dozen destroyed buildings remind of active hostilities. In the village of Metalkino, near Severodonetsk, as a result of shelling by Russian war criminals, horses from the Virtuoso Equestrian Sports Complex were killed. Oh my god, no. Oh my god. In peacetime, this club was popular with residents not only of Severodonetsk but also of many nearby cities. Here you can ride horses among the picturesque nature and get riding lessons. The club arranges horseback riding excursions to the stables and children's activities. Both beginners and professional athletes come here to communicate with animals and actively spend time. A local publication wrote about the club. Now there is nothing left. Everything burned down. Everyone burned down. And I just, I feel so bad for animals because animals don't understand what's happening. Like, can you imagine these horses being in these stables this whole time and just not knowing what the heck is going on? And there are all these noises, and they were probably so traumatized and so sad, and like things like that. I don't know. Like, of course, I'm very, 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 very upset about the loss of human life. And of course, I'm upset about every Ukrainian who has had like trauma for the rest of their life and who's gone through so much. But it's just like, I think that animals are just so defenseless against us humans, right? Which is screwed up. And so anytime I see anything like that, I just can imagine these animals being so panicked and so scared, especially horses, and just not know what's happening and why there are explosions and sounds and stuff like that. And it's just like, it's so sad. Why? Losses of Russian invaders, according to documents from the Pervomaisk hospital. In the period from May 15th to June 15th, 2022, 893 servicemen with injuries were admitted to the state institution Pervomaisky Hospital. Some of the seriously wounded, namely 124 servicemen, died, the documents say. Note that these figures are most likely not taken into account in the daily statistics from the general staff. Therefore, just imagine what are the actual scales of losses there. The invaders are to take Severodonetsk by storm, but there is no success. Operational summary of the general staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine for the evening of June 19th. Well, Kyiv is okay, though. Is your friend's name Yulia by any chance? Is her name Yulia and last name very similar to, or rather the same as our former prime minister? By any chance? I know there are lots of Yulias that probably came back to Kyiv today, but I know one that literally posted about her cat and how much she missed their cat, and she's at her parents' house, so I'm very curious whether we know the same Yulia somehow. She's also like a blogger on Instagram, so I'm very curious if that's your Yulia. The armed forces of Ukraine repulsed the attack near the village of Toshkivka. The head of the Luhansk army, Serhiy Haidai. Yeah. Yeah, but not Юля Тимошенко, але не прем'єр-міністр. Юля Тимошенко – дівчинка з таким самим прізвищем, яка є блогером на Інстаграмі. The armed forces of Ukraine repulsed the attack near the village of Toshkivka. The head of Luhansk army, Serhiy Haidai. Stubborn battles continue in Severodonetsk. The Russians are trying to capture the city completely, but they're not successful. The Russians are suffering massive losses. Eurovision winners Kalosh Orchestra opposed the transfer of the contest from Ukraine next year. Our armed forces of Ukraine will do everything possible to ensure that the competition is held safely. Just give us some time, the band's leader stated. Also, the Minister of Culture and Information Policy of Ukraine, Alexander Tkachenko, confirmed on the air of the telethon that Ukraine will appeal against the postponement of Eurovision. We consider this decision to be unfair, incorrect, and inconsistent with the principles of Eurovision. He also said that the supervisory board of the competition announced the transfer of Ukraine only shortly before the official announcement of the decision.
Всім здоров'я. Що всі вже чули новини стосовно Євробачення, і вони не дуже хороші. Наша команда також дуже розчаровується стосовно рішення EBU і маємо велику надію, що це ще можливо якось змінити, через те, що ми дуже хочемо провести це Євробачення в Україні, і наше ЗСУ зробить все можливе, щоб це було безпечно для всіх. Тому просимо EBU і всіх, хто приймають рішення, просто дати нам трошки часу, і ми вам докажемо, що все буде так, як має бути. Всім здоров'я. Що всі вже чули новини стосовно Євробачення, і вони не дуже хороші. Наша команда також дуже розчаровується стосовно.
This is the frontman of Kalush, which is the band that sings Stefania, the winners of Eurovision. All new residential buildings in Ukraine will be built with bomb shelters. Today, the Verkhovna Rada adopted the relevant bill number 7398 as a basis. Bomb shelters will be built in order to protect the population from explosions, blast waves, damage by dangerous chemicals, radioactive and biologically hazardous substances. Urban planning documentation must now include information on the planned engineering and technical measures of civil protection. Yeah, also it's sad because it's crazy that this is what we have to do now, you know? It's crazy that there has to be a bomb shelter underneath your house because Russia is our neighbor. It's sad because, yes, it's going to be more expensive. It's sad because it's crazy. The rematch of Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua is officially confirmed. The Ukrainian will defend his world titles on August 20th in the city of Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. The Ukrainian and the Briton will compete for the WBA, WBO, IBF, and IBO heavyweight title. Enemy aviation launched a missile attack on Ochakov. There are dead, reports Operational Command South. According to the command, the invaders trying to destroy the port infrastructure at the same time got into the private sector, damaging several buildings. As a result of the impact, one person was killed and 2 others were injured. Information on total losses and destruction is being specified. Protests in Moldova. What is happening? Right now, there is a mass anti-government rally in Chisinau. According to the organizers, the people demand the registration of the puppet pro-American government, the president, and early elections. The resignation of the puppet pro-American government, the president, and early elections. Self-proclaimed leaders from the stage call on the protesters to block the roads. Special forces were sent to the place of protest. The police reported that 3 groups of young people of athletic build were identified on the streets of Chisinau. They are preparing provocations for actions. In turn, the SHOR party, which is, as it reports, is not involved in organizing the rally, said that more than 40,000 people were participating in the protest. Oddly enough, Russian singer Yegor Krid was supposed to perform in front of the protesters. Of course he was. A couple of hours ago, in his TG Telegram channel, he announced that his performance at the Assembly Square would not take place and apologized to the fans who wanted to get high with him. So basically, these are Russian-paid protests in Moldova. Amazing. Volodymyr Zelensky congratulated a friend of Ukraine, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, on his birthday. He posted his congratulations on Instagram stories where he tagged Johnson. There are friends whom no extra words are needed to understand each other and who greet each other without extra words. Happy birthday, friend, Boris Johnson. In France, according to the first results of the second round of parliamentary elections, the bloc of incumbent President Emmanuel Macron together wins 35.39%. In second place is the left bloc of Jean-Luc Mélenchon with 26.03% of the vote. If no one wins more than 50% of the vote, the opponents will have to negotiate a coalition, most likely. We are waiting for the official final results. Australia showed the shipment of 4 M113A S4 armored personnel carriers to Ukraine, 10 more to be shipped soon. Ukrainian cyberspace team Natus Vincere won at the Spring Blast premiere of CSGO. The Ukrainians defeated the French team Vitality and won $200,000 in a trip to the final tournament of the series with a prize fund of $1 million. Congratulations. Interesting. Yeah, also wait, poli-sci history guy. Твоя подруга, яка поїхала до Києва, її звати Юля чи ні? Мені просто цікаво, тому що ти так описав її як мою подругу, яка сьогодні приїхала до батьків до Києва, в якої теж є кіт, за яким вона сумувала. Volodymyr Zelensky's new address. Tomorrow begins the historic week, one of the most important since 1991. A week when we will hear a response from the European Union regarding the candidate status of Ukraine. And in such a week, Russia should be expected to increase hostile activity, especially indicative, and not only against Ukraine, but also against Europe. We are preparing, we warn partners, and we thank everyone whose strength today is our victory tomorrow. Lysychansk. A father saw his son killed by the Russian invaders. Father's Day. This is on Father's Day. The Georgian Legion showed a video of how the battles for Severodonetsk are going. This is Georgian Legion. You can't fight the French. Oh. Oh, I see. Dasha. Okay. You can't fight the French. Herojem Slava John. And then for dessert, Scholz. German Chancellor Scholz proposes to simplify EU accession rules for new countries. The European Union must move away from the principle of unanimous decision-making in all areas, the German Chancellor believes. Discussions around this issue have been going on for a long time, but only by the decision of the 27 members of the European Union can any reforms be adopted. The Chancellor intends to submit his proposal in this matter on June 23rd, 24th at the next EU summit, where they will consider applications for the entry of Ukraine, Georgia, and Moldova. Details are not given. Did Scholz just like... It's funny because I think he sees that Russia is losing hardcore and he's like, oh crap. I really need to like reform here because nobody supports me and everybody thinks I'm a clown. So I need to use the bathroom. I'll be back in a second. I do want to remind you that the coasters that are made by the lovely Ukrainian lady who is Anastasia's friend's mother, that are hand crocheted. They're still available. Each one of them, and which ones are sold and which ones are not are on Patreon. And then if you're not on Patreon, some of them are on my Insta stories. So if you want to support a Ukrainian artist who does this for a living because they have been laid off during COVID, it's $20 with shipping for a set of 2 crocheted coasters, and or $15 to $20, whatever you feel like is reasonable. And if you want to buy them, if you're on Patreon, you can just send me a message on Patreon or a comment under the coasters. If you're not on Patreon, you can just DM me. Everything is going to the lady. It's not me, not my thing. I'm not like, as in like, this is not something I'm selling. This is something that I'm trying to help a Ukrainian person to make some money because they were laid off during COVID. And then now when they started looking for a job, the war started. So they're just crocheting and selling their crocheted beautiful like things for a living. And I have a bunch of them. Anastasia sent them to me. So I was thinking I could maybe try and sell them here. And again, $20 for 2 coasters, including shipping if you're in the US, or $15 to $20, including shipping if you're in the US. And if you're in Canada or somewhere else, then I need to look up how much shipping is, because lately the rates have been really, really expensive and it might not cover it. But if you're in the US and you want coasters, I will gladly post them. So yes, a couple of you have gotten the coasters, and thank you so much. I think we've sold 7 sets out of 16, I believe. So there are 9 left. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to go to the bathroom, and I'll be back in a second. Aw, see. Yes, sister. Yes, little one. Also, Anastasia, as per usually, sent me socks from Ukraine. As you guys know, Anastasia sends me socks. And I wanted to ask you guys, so I need to get a headset, and does anyone have the Apple headset? Like the Apple Max headset? They are on sale at Target currently. And I was thinking of financing one because, so the thing about me, I know nothing about over-the-head headphones. And, well, I do know a little bit. I do know that Bang & Olufsen is really good. And I feel like if I'm going to continue doing YouTube and if I'm going to continue doing stuff like that, there are going to be more times than not that I'm going to need a headset. Like last time when I had reverberation and it got fixed by like my headphones, but then my mic on my AirPods is really bad. And so I know nothing about, Sennheiser. Yeah, I've heard about them too. The one thing is that since my like technological presence has grown, as in camera, tripod, gimbal, all of these things, I have so many apps on my phone, right? And I know that Apple always overcharges. I have read the review on similar headphones from Bang & Olufsen than the Apple Max ones, right? Or Apple's over the AirPods Max, whatever. And it looks like they are pretty on par with each other. Bang & Olufsen has a better sound. Yeah, well, the headset on Amazon is like, it's just like, I'm not gonna put a good expensive headset on my wish list, you know? I'm not gonna put like that's just not gonna happen. So I'm just probably gonna finance one. And so I was looking at at a couple of them, and the only reason why I was looking at Apple is because it's such easy integration for an iMac and for an iPad and for like an iPhone and like stuff like that. Because I was reading about other headsets, and apparently for them to have good sound and for you to be able to like to adjust them and stuff like that, you have to have an app. Like Bang & Olufsen prevails over Apple, obviously. But another thing is I have very sensitive ears, extremely sensitive ears. And one of the things that I read in the review of most headphones is that their headphones are like rounded. And if you're a woman and you, especially if you wear earrings, I have earrings that I can't take out because I can't, because they're going to like grow in. So these and these two, I never take them out. Then your ears are going to hurt. One of the things that I do like about the Apple headset is that it's shaped like this, so it's longer, so it covers your entire ear. And I was told it's not that like no, it's not that Apple is making it hard to use non-Apple stuff. It's just that like Bang & Olufsen has an app, and in order for you to like regulate Bang & Olufsen, you have to use their app. And like the same went for Stenhauser and stuff like that. My mom has Beats headphones, and so I really don't like Beats. So I've never owned over-the-head headset, and one of the reasons for that is, again, I have sensitive ears. I have really sensitive ears. I've never owned an over-the-head headset because my ears literally hurt if I wear them. And so my mom has Beats, and Anastasia has Beats, and I've tried different sizes of Beats, and I hate them. I absolutely hate them. I think that their sound is not that great. I mean, like, I'm not hating on you. I'm just saying that for me personally, I think their sound was like and that like I put them on, and within maybe 10 minutes, my ears were like absolutely dying. So yeah, the pads are just like not they don't fit my ears right. And yeah, the reason why I was asking about the Apple ones is because I know that like if I'm on my computer and I need my headset to like connect to my computer, I know it's going to be easy with Apple, and I also know it's going to be easy with the phone. Apple makes Apple products be so easily integrated to each other. Bone conduction headsets? I don't know what that means. Yeah, B and O are really good. Apple headset idea. Yeah, that's like the thing. Like, here's the thing. Like, I think that Apple is one of the things that like really, 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 really that I really, really like about it is that it's just easy integration. And Bang & Olufsen, I really like. I have somebody gifted me a Bang & Olufsen speaker for like my birthday years ago, or rather, not my birth. Well, it wasn't. Anyways, somebody that I was dating years ago gifted me a Bang & Olufsen portable speaker, and I know that their sound is very, very, very good. And I saw their headphones, and they are definitely amazing. The only thing that I'm worried about with Bang & Olufsen, yeah, send me an example. I would love that. The only thing that, oh, gotcha, outside near your ear, gotcha. Yeah, no, I have tiny ears. But Bang & Olufsen's have like a round ear set, and the person who was reviewing Apple versus those Bang & Olufsen headphones that I was like looking at said that yes, they performed much better in terms of battery life, and like you can, if you have the app, adjust them much better than Apple ones. But one of the things that she did note, which I was like, oh, was the fact that they sit right on your ears, and that her ears are small and she wears lots of earrings, and that her ears are sensitive and that her ears hurt after a while. And I was like, oh no. So it just looks like Apple, unfortunately, is the like most convenient solution, which I'm also not happy about because I know that they overcharge for their products. But I've been reading reviews, and it seems like they're very decent headphones as like a headset, and they're very decent in terms of their crisp sound, and they're very decent in terms of the fact that they don't have like a bulky case and you can carry them around too if you wanted to, and they're very decent in terms of the fact that their pads are interchangeable. So apparently you can switch the pads. And apparently you can also I have a 13 Pro or something like that. I have a grandfathered, one of the things that I have a grandfathered phone plan. So my phones are usually pretty up to date because I have really, really good deals on like turning phones in and like updating them. It's pretty cheap for me. So I have a 13 Pro and Biodynamic, Audio Technica, AKG. Yeah, so Sennheiser and AKG and Audio Technica. I've heard these a lot. So yeah, so I was like, one of the reasons why I needed advice, and one of the reasons why I was wondering if somebody has the Apple headset, because I just wanted to know if you guys like it, because I've been reading reviews about it and it seems like a very decent one, and it just sounds like it's very easy to integrate with both my phone here and with my computer for podcasts and for shows and for YouTube lives and stuff like that. And so I'm just kind of like wondering if somebody has those, and if they have positive reviews or if they have negative reviews, if they have something to say about it. I feel like yeah. And I feel like um I feel like they just might be like the most convenient option. And they are on sale right now. And I do have, like, they're on sale on Amazon, they're on sale on Target, they're on sale like everywhere. And it's not like a huge sale, but I think I have like a Target coupon for something. And I definitely have at least like a $15 to $20 coupon for Amazon for something. So I can finance it. Well, I have savings, and I do ask if you are able to sign up for my. Someone asked, how do you support yourself now that you do social media full time? So I have savings, but they're not like tremendous, obviously. And so if you have an ability to sign up for my Patreon, I do ask that you do, especially if you watch me every evening and you enjoy it, because one of like the cheapest membership is $10 a month, and $10 a month goes a long way. And it's not, I'm no one to like count your money or anything, but it's 2 coffees or a Netflix subscription. And if you'd like to subscribe to me like you would to Netflix, I would really appreciate it, because it really does help me. And for the time period of like this war, I would really like to be able to focus on doing charity, for Ukraine, and raising awareness and raising funds and helping out Ukrainians and stuff like that. And unfortunately, it is like a full-time job when you record videos, when you like reach out to different places, when you try to keep it going. And it is like, it does take most of my day. And even if I'm not like online, it's like if you do that online, uh, if you like do this, all of this stuff, even if you don't see me online all day, like behind the scenes, there's so much work that goes into doing all of this stuff. And like, I'm happy to do it. I honestly like, I think one of the things I realized is also that I found myself in like activism for Ukraine. And I also found myself in the fact that I've always known history and I've never known where to really apply it. And this is one of the things, like, I really enjoy history, and I really enjoy politics. I really enjoy like, I really enjoy kind of like analysis and stuff like that. And thank you, Matt. I really enjoy analysis, and I really enjoy stuff like that. And so for me, it's very sort of like, I really like this. I really want to help Ukraine, and I really want to be able to do more, and I really want to be able to do what I'm doing. And I hope that with this platform, I can figure out a way where I can make money and also do this at the same time. where it's just more like maybe I could do some brand sponsorships with like brands that I like. Maybe I could figure out some, I don't know what, but I really want to work on Return of Childhood Foundation. I really want to work on, I really want to work on, of my first live, maybe, maybe. I think lives are only stored for 90 days, but I can try and look for it. I didn't know that you can download lives at that point. I definitely have Beats Solo 3 wireless and ear headphones, Apple W1 headphone chip. Huh, interesting. Thank you. But yeah, so it's like one of those. Wait, I I am so lost. I'm so lost with where I was. I don't know if I have a recording of my first live. Yum. I can look at it. I definitely have recordings of my like first lives, like the first weeks that I was live, and I will check out. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look for like normal. I'm gonna look for normal priced options. About the bone conduction headphones, they sit in front of your ears. Oh, okay. I'll look. Thank you so much. That's really helpful. But yeah, the Beats. The only thing with Beats is that I've tried Beats. Like my mom has Beats and Anastasia has Beats, and they didn't work for me. Like my ears hurt like crazy. Yeah. Well, thank you. I really do appreciate the words of encouragement, and they really do mean a lot because sometimes I'm really, really scared about like what's going to happen and what the future holds. But I think that I really want to try and make this platform into something that's really helpful and useful for Ukraine. And I do have a lot of ideas. And and I do have a lot of kind of like, um, yeah, beats like I don't like beats sound, and I also don't like how the beats feel in my ears. But yeah, so I really hope that I could turn this platform into something that actually changes things and something that can make a change, and hopefully not just for Ukraine in the future. And like the thing is, it's not like, I would never want to be like a TikTok personality that like, I don't know, does um like that does just like, I don't know, like ads for clothes or like whatever. I mean, like I would love to if it would like pay my bills and I believed in those brands, as in like they were nice small brands, local, like that I like sustainability and stuff like that, which is why everything in my store is like good quality and good fabrics and stuff like that. But yeah, so I just really hope that I can turn it into something that can serve for change, that can be educational, that can be helpful to different causes, that can bring the foundation up, and yeah, I just want to help, and thank you. I just want to help, and I just want to like, I don't know. I really appreciate the words of encouragement, is all I'm trying to say. Really. So thank you very, very much. And you guys are all awesome. And I really, really am very, very lucky to have to have built such an amazing community. Not as an I build, but you guys built an amazing community around my channel, and I am very, very grateful for all of you. You are amazing. So thank you very much. And I know I could never say it enough, because truly, like, you don't know how much. You don't know how grateful I am to have you, because well, it's just, I could never imagine that a rant on social media about why. Thank you, Yum. That's a very beautiful galaxy. But I could never imagine that a rant on social media about why the conflict in Ukraine cannot be solved diplomatically, because diplomatic solutions are not possible with Russia, and Putin particularly would lead to being here today and be having such an amazing supportive community of people who really care and who have cared since the beginning, and who continue to care, and who are really just truly amazing. And I never thought that, like, this channel in the beginning of the war, when I really was very, very worried about my parents, I didn't know what's going to happen. Well, we still don't, right? But when there was that uncertainty of everything really, and that we didn't know how our army is going to do, I didn't, Europe wasn't really responding very well. The US responding very well. Nobody was helping us, This channel was my lifeline. This channel really was my lifeline, because it was, I got to read the news, and I got to kind of like have a community that understands me and is as worried as I am, because I felt very alone in that way. And it's, yeah. And so you guys kind of made it bearable for me, and I was very happy that there were people who wanted to know more information, and who didn't just want to know the news, but wanted to know the context, and people who listened. And you guys stayed up with me when I was waiting for my dad to wake up every evening. And you stayed up with me till like 1 a.m, until my dad would just text me hi. And then I'd be like, okay, I gotta go and call him. And, I don't know what I would have done, because I would have just sat here like staring at a wall, just waiting for my dad to wake up, because every day I couldn't go to sleep until I heard from him, and you guys were here for it, and I really, really, really appreciate it. So thank you very, very, very much, for being there for me and for my country, for like first and foremost for my country, and also for me. And I've also made some incredible friends through this app, which I never thought could be possible, because before this I've only seen TikTok as like, oh yeah, people doing some interior design, and some like whatever random BS that's happening, because I've never gotten any serious content on this app ever that interested me, which is weird. And then and then it's just been incredible, and I'm really, really grateful to all of you. And I am very happy that this platform was able to kind of bring this together. And I genuinely made some very, very good friends through here, and with some of you also, with the moderators. And it's incredible, and thank you so very much for being so amazing and so supportive. And you guys are absolutely amazing, and thank you very, very, very much. I really, really appreciate you. Yeah, if you have good suggestions for poli-sci accounts and history accounts, I would love to look at them. On that note, I'm gonna have to go to bed, or at least attempt to go to bed. Who am I kidding? I'm probably not gonna sleep until 2 a.m. And I'm probably gonna be on Discord for a little bit, but this is my nightly ritual. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm sorry for my live scheduling today. It was awful. And I'm gonna schedule them better for tomorrow. I, for some reason, thought that I scheduled them for a different time today, and then a lot of you ended up just hanging out there, like waiting for me. And I'm sorry. I'm gonna schedule it better for tomorrow. But have a good night. Thank you for being here, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Oh my god, I need to not forget this. Someone please remind me. Bye, guys. Na dobranic. Na dobranic. Bye, guys. And thank you, John. I really appreciate that you think that way. And I'm really glad to have met you and really glad to have met all of you. Thank you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.